Welcome to 5 Minute Magic from the Mindful Creative Podcast, a short bonus episode sharing tips and insights from the pages of the book of the same title. Every week I'll be sharing 1 or 2 ideas that can give you an actionable takeaway for your creative process, your work, your business, or just food for thought for the weekend ahead. These episodes share content from the audiobook, and you can find the link to the full version in the show notes below. Hey, the first bonus episode is actually going to be read by me, and the reason why I want to read it myself is that the story is very personal. When we were recording the audiobook, I was trying to get my friend Stephen, who narrated the audiobook, to get the tone right, and this was the first thing that we recorded, and it feels quite somber. And the story of Creativity Nearly Killed Me is quite serious. It should also put focus on the idiocy of what I used to do, of how I used to sort of believe in the constant go, 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 not having time for anything apart from work, thinking that all I have to do is to work, and I'm kind of struggling with the survival instinct, running my own business. Everything I did at that time, I spent a long time undoing. So I was breaking myself a lot, and I didn't know it. I was just excited, working until the point where I couldn't do neither of the things. So had such a major burnout and panic attack that things had to change. With the Creativity Nearly Killed Me, with the intro to the book, I'm talking about the fact that the elements of danger are sometimes mistaken for different signals. I'll stop talking, I'll start reading, and I hope you enjoy this episode. Creativity nearly killed me. It was 4 a.m. on a Wednesday morning. I lit a cigarette standing in the backyard of my basement apartment in southwest London. It was a warm summer morning, and the world around me was still dreaming. The glow of my cigarette signaled the end of another workday. I've been grafting for nearly 16 hours, and despite the long haul and the late finish, I felt ready to continue for another few hours if need be. It had been yet another marathon session in the office, fueled by the mixture of caffeine, nicotine, adrenaline, and dopamine, but I didn't mind. I was fully devoted to my work, my deadlines, and my clients. Finishing my smoke, I checked my emails one last time and rechecked the piece of work I just finished. I also looked over my to-do list for the coming day, which would be starting a mere 5 or 6 hours hence. Tomorrow would be likely another long one. Meetings, client calls across different time zones, a feedback session, work promotion, folio tweaking and learning. I would get up mid-morning to look after the admin, reserving the creative work for the evening when the world became quieter and I could focus. Technically, I would work 2 8-hour days only in one calendar day. New business was coming in from all angles, and any spare moments were filled with self-initiated learning. I believe I was in love with what I was doing, but obsessed is more accurate. Nothing seemed amiss, though. I was the main man, the one keeping the plate spinning. I had no idea how addicted I was. If anything, I wore my work ethic as a badge of honor. It became my identity. Every day, I was chasing the next high, just like any addict. From getting inquiries to doing the work, submitting it, getting paid, each step felt crucial to my sense of worth. Having been in demand since deciding to set up on my own, I had never paused to reflect on how far I had come or what issues I might need to address. My actions and emotions were underpinned by the search for security that came with running my own business. There was no fallback or warehouse full of stock ready to ship. Each new piece of work was a blank canvas, new client, new brief, new obstacles. And if the work dried up, my bank balance would do the same. I had no safety net. I was growing a business as an emigre from a different country in a city that I now called home. Projects came with diverse requirements and overlapping deadlines, all of which I felt equal to. There was no routine, no long-term plan. It was a punishing cycle of go, go, go and the perfect recipe for chaos. But somehow it worked, just. You'd be forgiven for thinking that I was doing it all to build some sort of multi-million-pound business empire. How else does one justify so enthusiastically making themselves ill? Indeed, such reckless behavior is generally reserved for high earners whose job titles come with high demands. But there I was with 3 titles: art director, designer, illustrator, splashed across my website, working away in my apartment, doing all I could to ensure the wheels kept turning, my clients were happy as possible, and I remained focused on producing exponentially better work. The incoming commissions included many high-profile advertising campaigns, work for internationally renowned brands, and dozens of other projects. The highs were super high, and the work was engaging. It seemed like the best feeling ever. And I bought it all without seeing a high price tag. Only after sprinting on this treadmill for many years did I realize that my superpowers were waning. The caffeine and adrenaline could only do so much to keep me awake. My circadian rhythm was shot. I was going to bed as the world woke up and getting up by the time it reached for the first coffee break. I was both overcaffeinated and severely dehydrated. I smoked too many cigarettes, and on many occasions when I socialized, I would drink too much too quickly, which never goes well. My idea of exercise was the odd session on a static bike in a corner of my apartment, and I thought I could maximize every minute of every day for work, which meant not going out unless I had to. So a brisk walk to the tube station was my lot. I reasoned that I could balance all of the bad stuff with a decent diet, which I just about managed to stick to. But just like every broken person, I believed that everything was fine. I worked out recently that in my first 20 years of running my own creative business, I've put in 30 years worth of hours. Don't try this at home. My mental health was deteriorating, but I plowed on. Even when I spent one of my birthdays crying into a slice of cake, utterly exhausted, no alarm bells rang and nothing changed. The remorseless grind kept me on course for the cliff edge. I was lucky to have survived that part of my life without any serious long-term damage. Of course, there were fuck-ups and blackouts aplenty, but I emerged on the other side with all 4 limbs intact and all 5 senses working. And you know what? It was all my choice. The title of this introduction is, perhaps, unfair. Creativity didn't nearly kill me. I nearly killed me. I made all the wrong decisions. I bought into the wrong mindset and beliefs. I can't deny that doing so opened many doors for me, but I've long since realized that there could have been a far better way of doing it. A creative career can take enough of you as it is. You don't need to make it worse for yourself. With no set plan beyond ensuring the bills are covered every month, we often have no defined expectations, or even defined successes. We don't know our enough, and I sure as hell didn't know mine. It took me at least 10 years to work out that there was a such thing. Life and work were both coming at me full pelt, and I was happily opening my arms to catch as much as I could, until the moment I suddenly couldn't anymore. Thankfully, more than a decade ago, the turning point came. My knight in shining armor turned out to be a girl called Rachel on an ex-racehorse called Sean, both utter legends. Much like me, Sean was a bundle of chaos, and it took Rachel a good few years to make us both listen to her wisdom and stop making fools of ourselves. Rachel and I are now married and the proud parents of 2 young children who are hard at work on their potential comedy careers. I mean, at least I think that's what they're doing. It's so easy to get sidetracked and end up in something like this chaos again. But for at least a decade now, I've been working to form the right habits, follow healthier routines, and act on the knowledge that I continue to find along the way. But through it all, I'm still work in progress, and I always will be. Hopefully, compiling and sharing what I know about the beast of creativity will help others avoid making the same mistakes I did. Doing so feels not only right, but also necessary. If you feel thirsty, you're already dehydrated. If you need help with mental health, you're already in trouble. The key is to anchor yourself so you don't end up drifting further from the shore than necessary, and this book is all about it. I still love creativity. It changed my life, but it nearly broke me for good too. It's a beautiful beast, but we have to learn how to tame it.